Welcome back to the English Listening Club. This is episode 3, and I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm Sophie. I can't believe we are already on our 3rd episode. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It really does. Today, we are moving away from the clouds and the airplanes of the first episodes and diving straight into the deep blue ocean.
I love that. Today's topic sounds a bit industrial, but trust me, it's actually one of the most fascinating parts of how our modern world works.
Exactly. We are talking about maritime transport, the giant ships, the massive ports, and the thousands of people who live their lives on the water to bring us everything we use.
Did you know, Jake, that if you look around your room right now, almost 90% of the things you see, your laptop, your clothes, even your coffee beans, probably arrived in your country on a ship?
It's a staggering thought. We live in a globalized world, but we rarely think about the vessels that make it possible.
Vessel. That's a good word to start with. It's a more formal way to say a large ship.
Exactly. And before we set sail into this conversation, a quick reminder, the full glossary is included at the end of this script.
So, Jake, let's start with the basics. When you think of the ocean, do you think of a relaxing vacation or a massive highway for cargo?
To be honest, I used to think about vacations, but after reading about logistics, I see the ocean as a giant busy highway. However, my personal experience with ships is, well, a bit traumatic.
Oh no, here we go. Is this about the time you got seasick on a ferry?
How did you know? It was 5 years ago. I took a ferry from the UK to Spain. It crosses the Bay of Biscay.
The Bay of Biscay is notorious for its rough weather. It's a graveyard for old ships because the waves can be unpredictable.
Exactly. And I thought, I'm young, I'm healthy, I won't feel a thing. Sophie, 10 minutes after we left the harbor, I was holding on to the railing for dear life.
Poor Jake. Seasickness is a terrible feeling. It's like your brain and your stomach are having a fight.
Precisely. Your eyes see the ship is stable, but your inner ear feels the movement. I spent 24 hours staring at the horizon. I didn't eat a single thing.
That's actually the best remedy. Looking at the horizon helps the brain synchronize the movement. But 24 hours is a long time to be miserable.
It was, and it made me think about the seafarers, the sailors who spent 6 months on a container ship. How do they do it?
It's a lifestyle choice. You need a specific personality. You have to enjoy solitude, or at least be okay with it. You are surrounded by the same 20 people for months.
And you are at the mercy of the weather. If a storm hits in the middle of the Atlantic, you can't just get off the boat. You have to ride it out.
It's true. Modern ships are incredibly stable because of stabilizers, which are like underwater wings. But a big storm is still a big storm.
I have so much respect for them. Imagine being in the middle of the ocean on Christmas Day or your birthday, thousands of miles away from your family.
It's a sacrifice, but many sailors say they love the freedom. No traffic, no noise, just the sound of the waves and the most incredible stars you have ever seen.
I can imagine the lack of light pollution makes the night sky look like a painting.
Let's talk about the ships themselves. Have you ever stood next to a modern container ship in a port?
Only once in London. It felt like standing next to a skyscraper that had fallen over.
It's a good analogy. Some of these ships are 400 meters long. That's 4 football fields.
And they carry these TEUs. For our listeners, TEU stands for 20-foot equivalent unit. It's the standard size of a metal container.
Some ships can carry 24,000 of those containers. Can you imagine the logistics of loading and unloading that?
It's a miracle of engineering. If you tried to do it with humans and ropes like in the old days, it would take years. Now, with gantry cranes, they can move a container every minute.
It's like a giant high-stakes game of Tetris. You have to balance the weight perfectly. If the heavy containers are on one side, the ship will tilt, which is extremely dangerous.
Right. And then you have the reefers. Those are the refrigerated containers. Without them, we wouldn't have fresh fruit from South America in the middle of winter in Europe.
It's amazing how we take it for granted. We go to the supermarket, we buy a banana, and we don't think about the refrigerated vessel that kept that banana at exactly 13 degrees Celsius for 3 weeks at sea.
And the fuel. These ships have engines the size of small houses. They burn a lot of fuel, which leads to a big conversation about the environment.
Absolutely. The maritime industry is responsible for about 3% of global CO2 emissions. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot when you consider the whole planet.
But there is hope. I was reading about green shipping. Companies are experimenting with liquid natural gas and even high-tech sails.
Sails? You mean like the 18th century?
Sort of. They are called wind wings. They are huge, solid sails made of carbon fiber. They use the wind to help the engine, saving about 30% of fuel.
That's brilliant. Using ancient wisdom with modern technology. It's the only way forward.
Sophie, we can't talk about shipping without mentioning the Ever Given.
Oh, the big boat that got stuck in the sand. That was the biggest news story of 2021.
It was funny for a day, but then it became very serious. That ship blocked the Suez Canal for 6 days.
And because of those 6 days, billions of dollars were lost. It showed everyone how fragile our supply chain really is.
Exactly. We use a system called just-in-time logistics. Companies don't keep large stocks in warehouses. They expect the ship to arrive exactly when they need the product.
So when the Suez Canal was blocked, factories in Germany had to stop because they didn't have parts from China. It was a chain reaction.
It also highlighted how narrow these canals are. The Ever Given is a Golden-class ship. It's so big that there is almost no room for error in the canal.
It's like trying to drive a bus through a very narrow alleyway. One gust of wind and boom, you are stuck in the mud.
And the rescue operation was incredible. They had to move thousands of tons of sand from under the hull.
I remember the tiny bulldozer. There was a photo of a small bulldozer next to the giant ship. It looked like an ant trying to move an elephant.
That was my favorite meme. But it taught us that we need to diversify our routes. Maybe the Arctic route will be open soon because of climate change.
That's a bittersweet thought. It would be faster, but it's a sign that the planet is warming up too much.
Let's go back to the people. I read an interview with a captain who said the hardest part isn't the storms, it's the paperwork and the regulations.
I can believe that. Every time a ship enters a port, there are hundreds of documents to sign. Customs, health inspection, safety checks.
And the crew is often very international.
Companies to save money on taxes and regulations, but it can make things complicated for the workers' rights.
True. And we haven't even mentioned the most movie-like part of the sea, piracy.
People think pirates are a thing of the past, but they are very real in places like the Gulf of Aden or the coast of West Africa.
Modern pirates don't have wooden legs or parrots. They have high-speed boats and heavy weapons.
Ships have to hire private security now. Some ships even have citadels, which are reinforced safe rooms where the crew hides if the ship is attacked.
It sounds like a thriller movie. Can you imagine being a cook on a ship and suddenly you have to hide in a steel room because pirates are on the deck?
It's a high-stress job. I think I'll stay here in our studio, Jake. It's much safer.
I agree. No pirates here, just coffee and microphones.
Do you think we will see ghost ships soon? I mean, ships with no crew, controlled by AI.
It's already happening in small scales. Norway has the Yara Birkeland, the world's first fully electric and autonomous container ship.
No captain? That sounds a bit scary. Who makes the decisions if there is a collision risk?
Computers are actually better at calculating distances and speeds than humans. Most accidents at sea are caused by human error, people falling asleep or getting distracted.
That makes sense. But what about maintenance? If a pipe breaks in the middle of the Pacific, you need a human with a wrench to fix it.
That's the main problem. For now, autonomous ships are only for short trips near the coast. For long ocean crossings, we still need the seafarers.
I'm glad. I think the ocean needs a human soul. It's too big and too beautiful to be left only to machines.
Well, we have covered a lot of water today, from seasickness to AI ships and pirates.
It really makes you appreciate that simple cup of coffee or that new pair of shoes, doesn't it? They have traveled thousands of miles across dangerous waters to get to you.
It's a miracle of the modern world. Next time I see a ship in the distance, I won't just see a metal box. I'll see the stories of the people inside.
That's a lovely way to end the episode, Jake.
Before we go, listeners, we want to hear from you. Have you ever been on a long voyage?
Or maybe you work in logistics. Tell us about your experiences in the comments.
We love reading your stories. It helps us feel connected to our English Listening Club community.
Don't forget to check the glossary below to review the B1 and B2 vocabulary we used today.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends who are learning English.
See you in episode 4.
Safe travels, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.